You can unlock 2 exclusive emblems by watching and or subscribing to my live stream at twitch.tv/Mactics during the times and dates on screen. I'll see you there. Enjoy the video. Welcome to Will It Build, the series where I take your builds from my YouTube comments and Discord server and put them to the test to see if they are the real deal. If it's solid, then I'll gift you 1,000 silver, and if it's really something special, you'll be featured in a dedicated build video for your submitted build. So comment yours below so we can answer the question, will it build? Welcome back to another episode of Will It Build, where today we are looking at a build centered around the brand new Titan exotic boots that came with the episode Revenant in Destiny 2, the Blast Wave Striders. Now, first things first, how do you get these in the first place? Similar to how I recommended you get the Hunter and Warlock exotic armor pieces, best way is to get them through Master Rahul. All you have to do is max out his rank one time and reset. You have to get it all the way to 16. Best way to do that is either by turning in prime engrams that give 100 rep apiece, or by focusing exotic engrams on page 3, the precision decryption. This will net you 500 reputation each. Once you go ahead and max that out, you'll then be able to go to the 4th page of Rahul, the novel decryption, and you'll be able to go and pick them up with 1 exotic engram and 1 exotic cipher. You'll get that exotic cipher from prestiging Rahul, or alternatively, and if you're missing on exotic engrams, you can also use the same method. If you played last season, if you come to Bungie.net, log into your account on Bungie.net, click on your profile and click on Season Pass Progress, you'll actually be able to go ahead and pull previous season rewards that you did not acquire back in Echoes, things like exotic engrams and the exotic ciphers. So you can go ahead and claim these from your previous season pass and use those to focus to go ahead and skyrocket your rep, get that rank up, and then you can go ahead and buy the brand new exotics. Now, the build that we've constructed specifically for this exotic armor piece is not necessarily a build that you're going to use when you want to be using the best possible, most meta build possible. This is more so a fun build, a more memey build that you're going to use that is going to make your friends go, dude, what are you using? And how is it working in any capacity? Like, I don't even get how you're killing things, but it's working, so I guess I'm not going to say anything. As you'll see, first things first, we are running a triple grenade launcher setup. We've got the brand new primary ammo grenade launcher, Alethanim, which actually synergizes with these boots very, very well. It's got the Harvester Spike, where this weapon fires a Harvester Spike projectile. Dealing final blows with the weapon creates a single vestige at the target's location. Impaling more powerful combatants with the projectile creates a steady stream of vestiges from the target. And what's really cool about this weapon is that these vestiges not only power up the weapon so that you can eventually spit out special and heavy ammo bricks, but they actually also power up the meter of Blast Wave Striders. So Blast Wave Striders, in the exotic perk description, all it says is that you defeat targets to charge the armor. But for whatever reason, collecting those vestiges from the Alethanim also charges up your meter. So it allows you to get a little bit more use, a little bit more frequently out of the Blast Wave Striders. Once your meter is charged, you can slide or deal explosive self-damage to jump backwards and launch a bunch of stasis crystals all over the map and grant yourself frost armor, specifically 5 stacks of frost armor. As far as the subclass goes, we're going to really be playing strongly into this frost armor power fantasy. The idea with this build is that you're permanently going to have frost armor times 8, which is enabled by the Whisper of Rhyme, which allows you to have a higher maximum stack count of frost armor. It'll allow you to have 8 stacks of frost armor, which is going to give you a permanent 36% bonus damage resistance buff. The idea with this build is that you're going to have that up 100% of the time, so you're just ultimately going to be very tanky while you're freezing and blowing up everything with a bunch of stasis crystals all over the map and a bunch of shatters all over the map. Obviously, our super and our melee are locked in. There's no other choices for that. With our grenade, I'm rocking and rolling with Glacier Grenade, although I do kind of want to try out Cold Snap a little bit with this build as well to see how that feels now that Cold Snap has been updated to create stasis crystals in conjunction with its seekers. I'm going to start out with Glacier Grenade, but we'll probably see how Cold Snap feels as well. As far as the aspects go, we're going with Diamond Lance, which gives 3 fragment slots and makes it so that anytime we shatter or defeat targets with stasis abilities or weapons, such as our Alethanim, we're going to create a stasis lance. And we can either left click to throw the lance, or we can use our melee button to slam the ground, do a little bit more damage, and freeze all the targets around us. Our other aspect, granting 2 fragment slots to give you Tectonic Harvest, where anytime we shatter a stasis crystal or a frozen target, we're going to create a stasis shard. That shard's going to, of course, grant us melee energy to fuel our our Shiver Strike a little bit more. And what's more important about this aspect is that while we have Tectonic Harvest equipped, anytime we pick up any of those stasis shards, we not only get a stack of frost armor, but we also refresh the timer of our current frost armor buff, which is very much going to enable us to permanently have that 36% bonus damage resistance buff with our 8 stacks of frost armor. As far as our fragments go, we got fissures so that we increase the damage and size of all of the bursts of our stasis when we destroy crystals or frozen targets. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of crystals and frozen targets. Diamond Lance is helping with the frozen targets. Going to have a ton of crystals from our Blast Wave Strides and our Glacier Grenades. There's going to be crystals everywhere. That's going to be very, very solid. In a similar vein, we're also going to want to go with the Whisper of Shards so that anytime we shatter one of those stasis crystals, we get significantly increased grenade regeneration. Kind of feeds into that loop so we can throw grenades, shatter them, etc., etc. The grenades basically fuel themselves by shattering these crystals. We've then got conduction so that all of the nearby stasis shards that we create are automatically going to track to us. Also gives us a 10 resilience and 10 intellect bump, which just feels very, very good for maxing out our stats. Next, we've got the Whisper of Rime, like I said, which is going to take our frost armor stack counter from a maximum of 5 up to 8, increase the potency of our frost armor at max stacks. And then we finally got the Whisper of Chains, where when we defeat targets while we have frost armor, we have a chance to create an additional stasis crystal, or sorry, a stasis shard that's going to continue to fuel our melee energy and is going to give us more ways to refresh our frost armor duration and frost armor stack increment through Tectonic Harvest. For the mods, I'm going with a double harmonic siphon to play into the Alethanim, and there's honestly not really any helmet mods that really do well with this build. You're not using your class ability a whole lot, and even so, your super is not a very potent part of this build, so things like Dynamo, Ashes to Assets, and Hands-On are not super impactful. Don't really need any of the ammo mods because your Alethanim can literally spit out ammo. It generates ammo on its own. So I'm actually going with the in-flight compensator mod, where we increase the airborne effectiveness of all of our equipped weapons. That way we can kind of be a little bit more airborne and have more accuracy when we're like raining down fire with our Alethanim and our other grenade launchers. On the gloves, going with double harmonic loaders so that we're reloading our Alethanim super, super quickly in conjunction with an impact induction mod, so that anytime we do powered melee damage with the Shiver Strike, we're going to reduce our grenade cooldown so we can spam more Glacier Grenades. Moving down to the chest, nice and simple, we're just going with resistances. So I've got a concussive dampener and a melee damage resistance since we're going to be pretty close range. You could alternatively swap this melee damage resistance mod out for 2 elemental specific resistance mods if you would like, if you have capacity for those, or you can go with the melee plus concussive dampener like I am. On Blast Weave, similar to the helmets, where we don't really need a lot of the mods that are available, we kind of have a similar situation. So I'm just kind of opted, we have plenty of ability regeneration through our subclass setup, so I feel like we don't really need a lot of ability regeneration through overpower pickup, so I'm simply going with the Stasis Weapon Surge to buff my Alethanim, and then a Weapon Surge matching my heavy weapon to buff the damage output of that whenever I come across significantly tankier targets. We're pairing that up with a recuperation as well, as the one thing this build is missing a little bit, despite it having a ton of damage resistance, it is lacking a little bit of healing. So recuperation just helps us keep that health bar nice and filled up, even though it is going to be dropped very slowly thanks to all the damage resistance that we have accrued. Finally, on the class item, going with Reaper so that whenever we do cast our class ability, we're going to make it so that our next weapon, Final Blow, creates an orb of power. Powerful Attraction makes it so we scoop up any nearby orbs whenever we cast that class ability. And then, of course, Bomber gives a little bit of energy to our grenade whenever we cast that class ability. So, with all that put together, let's go ahead and take it for a spin and answer that question. Will it build? So our melee is kind of primarily used as a movement tool, chucking the Glacier Grenade pretty much any time it's up, which is going to be very, very frequent because we're going to be shattering a lot of stasis crystals. Using the Alethanim to go ahead and shoot everything. Every time we get an Alethanim kill as well, assuming our Diamond Lance cooldown is off, Stasis Weapon kill is going to generate these Diamond Lances. They are actually pretty strong. They feel really, really good in my opinion. Okay, so let's get a Glacier Grenade down, shoot that guy, collect all the crystals, collect all the Diamond Lances, then we can run around, use the Diamond Lance, stab those guys. That makes another crystal. Shoot these guys again, that makes another Diamond Lance. Smack these guys with the Diamond Lance. Another barricade. Just kind of a permanent Diamond Lance and Glacier Grenade crystal spam. And as you can see, now our Blast Wave Striders is now available. So we're going to make another Diamond Lance. Uh-oh, we got Screebs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the Lance at that Screeb. Kind of cut off all the choke points right there. All the Screebs are going to blow up on my crystals. And then now we can do the slide, make a bunch more crystals thanks to the Blast Wave Strides. Kind of gets in the way of all the Screebs. If you look at my Blast Wave Striders meter, you'll notice that every time one of these vestiges hits me, it charges up the meter. I don't know if that's an intended interaction or not, but that's why I really have been loving using Alethanim with this build, because it does supply you with a lot more blast wave action. Also, furthermore, not that I've really used any of my other ammo in my other guns yet, but consistently you're going to be able to spit out heavy ammo bricks and special ammo bricks for everyone in the unit, which is really, really nice. So you can kind of be a little gung-ho with your other weapons, because you know that in your regular gameplay loop, as you're using the Lethanim, you're just always going to be getting energy towards producing bricks on demand. So we're going to shoot that right there. And something I've really been enjoying doing is I love grabbing the Diamond Lance, doing the slide for the Blast Wave Striders, and then instantly doing the melee slam with the Diamond Lance in, like, close quarters areas, so that the slam of the Diamond Lance automatically blows up all the crystals that I send out and kind of one-shots anything that's nearby. Kind of want, like, a tankier enemy to show up. That'll do perfectly. So we'll do slide right into the Diamond Lance. And so that'll make it so it'll fly out all the crystals from Blast Wave. And then your Diamond Lance slam follow-up is going to automatically explode any of those close range crystals that flew out. So we'll melee that guy. That should give us a Diamond Lance. Perfect. And then we can do our little slide. That'll shoot out the crystals into our Diamond Lance slam. Throw that out. This is where we go ahead and get the heavy weapon, let the GL sing, and then, like I said, we're always passively accruing heavy ammo in the background as we use our Alethanim, so we're pretty much, like, permanently maxed out on heavy ammo. Melee, shoot him. That's going to fly all the crystals out there. Your crystals are just kind of a source for maintaining your frost armor as well. They're not necessarily, like, they don't always have to be used for damage necessarily. It can still be nice to just, like, know that they're there and be able to blow them up to create the stasis shard. When you collect the stasis shard, it's going to give you another stack of frost armor and refresh your timer. Okay, so let's go a little blast wave strides. Yeah, all those guys just got absolutely cooked. And then we got unstoppable, so we'll throw that. Freezing him will stun him. Look at all those vestiges. That's going to give us so much blast wave strider energy. Uh-oh.
Brother, this guy stinks!
You know, normally I would say it's a bad idea to dive bomb into a bunch of Screeves with a Diamond Lance, but when you have Frost Armor ×8, it's actually really isn't a big deal at all. You can kind of do whatever you want. All right, we're gonna drop that right there. Boom, that'll give us all our shards. I really want a Diamond Lance actually right now, so I'm gonna come over here and grab this Diamond Lance. And then we can do our Blast Wave Stride stuff. Throw all the crystals into him. Throw our Glacier Grenade. Pull out our Blinding GL, which I haven't really used whatsoever so far. And yeah, it's really just a bunch of stasis crystals, explosions, 24/7. Frost armor ×8, 24/7. Diamond lances, 24/7. Freezing everything, 24/7. Flying around with your melee, 24/7. That's pretty much it. The thing with this build is the real important things, if you do want to execute what was going on, is making sure you have Alethanim and obviously Blast Wave Striders. Your mod setup is not particularly integral to the success of the build. So if you have an idea for a different direction that you could go with this mod setup, you could 100% go that direction. Similarly with the other grenade launchers, I was running the disorienting grenade launcher with auto loading, which I think could be a little bit nice in content where enemies might be hitting a little bit harder. If you did want to experiment with this build in those types of activities, it would blind everything aside from champions and bosses, which would just make things a little bit safer for your up close and personal playstyle. And then obviously you can use whatever heavy weapon you want. I just liked the idea of going triple grenade launcher kind of for the style points, if that makes sense. And this is not going to be a build that you're going to run when you're trying to maximize your chances of defeating difficult content. You're probably, if you do want to run Stasis Titan in difficult content, you're probably going to be significantly better off running stuff like Cadmus Ridge, running stuff like the newly revamped Icefall Mantle. Probably going to be better off running stuff like Icefall Mantle and things of that nature if you do want to play Stasis Titan. I think it's a little easier to execute, brings a little bit more to the table. In terms of the fashion, if you like my fashion, this is what I went with. It's primarily the ornaments from Echoes with the ego malign shader. If you have a build set up for Stasis Titan or any Titan build or any build in all of Destiny for that matter that you think would be really spectacular this season, please be sure to drop it in the Will It Build channel in our Discord server so we can be sure to check it out and feature it in one of these videos. If you enjoyed this one, please make sure to like and subscribe so you can catch the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.